George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Okay, had one last thought here while I was in the process of making the previous two Mortgage Money 1.0 and 2.0, and that is, what do you do when you get solicited from your servicing lender for a refinance? Thanks for dropping into thecreditjungle.com today. Again, this is George Anderson, and I appreciate the time and attention that anybody would spend watching these videos. Hopefully it's educational and worth the time that you would spend to get some information that is not common knowledge. So anybody that already has a loan, that is having their loan, that ultimately maybe you started with a mortgage broker or with a mortgage banker or with a bank, and that loan is now being serviced by some third party that you didn't know who they were to begin with. Well, the good news is that the terms of the loan do not change. Okay, it's just a matter of who's collecting the payment. Okay, now I've had several mortgages throughout the course of my life, and I always like when the phone call comes, and I mean, gosh, they've got all this information. They've got my mortgage balance, they've got my cell phone number, my email address, and I get the statement from them. We'll have all of this information, and here's what we can save you and everything else. And they call you up, and it's just like, oh, George, my friend, hey, our vice president of mortgage operations asked that I give you a call because we're going to offer you a special deal and everything else. And it just seems so familiar, and maybe it's so much easier. Well, oh, they've already got all my information, and they're going to give me this great deal. Well, are they? Are they really going to give you a great deal? Well, I've had a few of these situations just within the last few months, and there's one little part of this that I think needs to be explained because it's not what it seems to be. So somebody will sit there. We've had a video I did before, and it broke down the difference between closing costs, which are one-time non-recurring fees, and then prepaid items, which are items that go into your escrow account that get paid on a monthly or an annual basis, like homeowners insurance, property taxes on an annual basis, and then mortgage insurance and interest on a monthly basis. So the advantage that the servicing lender has, in other words, the person who's collecting your payment, they already have your escrow account. So if you're halfway through the year, for just the calendar year, chances are they've collected half of what they need for your homeowner's insurance, half of what they need for property taxes, maybe a little bit more. So let's just say that they're sitting on a couple $1,000s in your escrow account, okay? So if they refinance your loan, what happens to your escrow account? Well, nothing, okay? They're continuing to service your loan. And what I've found out is that they'll tell them, well, hey, our closing costs, okay, and I had an example. I said, well, their closing costs, or the lender quoted me that their closing costs were only $5,000, and you told me that your closing costs are $5,000. And I said, okay, well, let me take a look at what they actually sent you. Well, when we looked at it, their loan had an origination fee and just some other fees on it, and yes, they were correct. The closing costs were $5,000. But they were actually charging $2,000 more in one-time non-recurring fees, and because of that, they were quoting a slightly better rate. Okay, mine, if you compare it, my closing costs were about $2,000 less, but that's because I have to set up a new escrow account. Now, does this money lost when you have the escrow account at your other mortgage company? No, it's not. So we would close your loan. Okay, we collect the money because we've got to collect that $2,000 so that when the taxes and the insurance come due, that we've collected it from you so that we can pay those to the county or to your homeowner's insurance company when they come. But your lender over here that was servicing your account, when they get paid off, guess what they do with the $2,000 when they're done? They send you a check. That's your money. You've paid that in up through that point of the year. So what I'm doing, if we're closing a loan and I'm not your servicing lender, okay, I've got to collect the escrows, and you're basically looking at about a 30-day float here that, yeah, you might come out of pocket or we might roll it into your loan, but they're going to send it back. So you've got to make sure that when you're being solicited on a refinance from your servicing lender, that you're comparing apples to apples. So hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com today. This is George Anderson. Push button, get a mortgage professional, and I would be delighted to talk with you about your situation and answer any questions that you have. Have a great day.